Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1980 Detroit Tigers season replay. Today's matchup is between the Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Royals at Royals Stadium. On the mound for the Tigers is Jack Morris, whose record is 14-8 with a 3.91 ERA. And pitching for the Royals is Paul Splittorff, whose record is 10-10 with a 4.80 ERA. And so we won 3 out of 4 against the Angels, the first place Angels, and we brought ourselves within 2.5 games of first place. So we are making a little bit of headway as really we've only gained 1 game in the last 10 games on the Yankees. But we'll take what we can get as we head into Kansas City to play the Royals. Let's go ahead and get this game started. As always, like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. I'm also having a Mickey Mantle autograph giveaway on the Brainiac Baseball Card Breaks channel. So at the end of this video, I'll have the link to the video where you can enter that contest too. If you're a subscriber, then you're automatically eligible for the contest. Okay, so here we are. All of our bullpen is available. Lopez did pitch in yesterday's game, and he gave up a run, which brought the score to 7-4, and I was a little bit concerned there. But we pulled out yesterday's game. All the bullpen is available. And Paul Splittorff is a lefty, and so we have our primary righty lineup in there. It works out okay because Thompson and Kemp were both listed as tired. So it gave me a chance to put Bob Baylor in there, and Mark Wagner is also getting a start at short, and then I moved Trammell to play first base, which he's done a few times this season. So let's get the season stats up, and we'll go ahead and do the Tigers lineup. And over here on the right side, you'll see the 1980 Topps card that represents that player. So batting leadoff and playing second base for the Tigers is Lou Whitaker. Batting second and playing first base today is Alan Trammell. Batting third and playing third base is Richie Hebner. Batting cleanup and DHing is Carlton Fisk. Batting fifth and catching is Lance Parrish. Batting sixth and in right field is Gary Hancock. Batting seventh and in center field is Tony Armis. Batting eighth and in left field is Bob Baylor. And batting ninth and at shortstop is Mark Wagner. And here's Paul Splittorff. As I mentioned, he's 10-10 with a 4.80 ERA. Morris and Splittorff pitched earlier in this week against each other in our very first series against the Royals this season, and both came out of there with a no decision as the Tigers bullpen imploded that game. So Splittorff had pitched 7.1 innings in that game. He gave up 10 hits, 7 runs, 4 of them being earned. So we did have some luck getting to him in the first matchup of the season, and hopefully we can continue that hot streak against him as Sweet Lou leads off, and he pops it up on the infield to short, and George Orta makes the catch for the first out as he only has a 69 defensive rating, so he must be playing out of position for him. Next up is Trammell, and with 1 down, he grounds it to third, and Brett has it for the second out. So 2 down, and here's Hebner batting in the third spot this game. And he hits a fly ball to left field, and that's the third out. So we head to the bottom of the first, and here's the lineup for the Royals for today. Batting leadoff is Dwight Evans in right field. Batting second and at short is George Orta. Batting third and at third base is George Brett. Batting cleanup and at first base is Ken Phelps. Batting fifth and DHing is Willie Aikens. Batting sixth and in left field is Hal Mcrae. Batting seventh and at second base is Frank White. Batting eighth and in center field is Amos Otis. And batting ninth and catching today is Jerry Grote. As we're waiting a moment for it to load, but I assure you it's Jerry Grote. As there we go, 37-year-old veteran, Jerry Grote. And on the mound for the Tigers is Jack Morris. His last start, as I mentioned, against the Royals was not so good. He pitched 5.2 innings, gave up 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 6 Ks, probably his worst start of the season. He's making his career-tying 27th start. He's 14-8, 3.91 ERA. He's got 121 Ks in 182 innings, which is decent. Opponents are batting .264 against him, and he has 3 complete games. So here's Dwight Evans leading off against Jack Morris. I just want to point out real quick that you can see Dwight Evans' baseball card is right here, and this card was specifically created for this game. As you can see, he's in his Royals card stock. So this is how it's going to be next season. Every game, all the players will have a representative card in their photo, and it'll always remain up to date every time they get traded. I'll create a new card or have a new card created that shows them on their current team. Okay, so here we go. Dwight Evans leading off. Oh, and Morris drills him right in the ribs. I guess I took too long explaining that, as Morris got a little antsy and drills Evans to lead off the bottom of the first. So next up is George Orta batting .348 versus righties. He takes a strike 3 looking, and there's 1 down. Next up, George Brett batting .334, and he walks. As you can see, there's 4 batters in the lineup batting over 300. The Royals do lead the major leagues. The American League in batting average and home runs. So 1 down, runners at first and second. Ken Phelps grounds it to Whitaker at second base, and they turn 2 to get out of the inning. So we head to the top of the second. Carlton Fisk leading off against Splittorff. He hit a home run against him in the first matchup, and he walks here. Fisk also had his second stolen base of the season on a botched hit and run in yesterday's game. As Parrish comes in, and he grounds it through the infield past Orta at short, and it's first and second. Nobody out. Gary Hancock had a 15-game hitting streak snapped yesterday, the longest streak by any Tiger this year, and he strikes out looking for the first out of the second inning. Next up is Tony Armis, and he walks, so bases are loaded for Bob Baylor, getting a spot start today. He bats .337 versus lefties, but he hasn't done much offensively of late, as he grounds it right to the second baseman, and a run does score on that. They could not turn 2. So an RBI for Baylor. It's 1-0 Detroit. And here's Mark Wagner in limited duty batting .313 versus lefties, and he grounds it to Orta at short, and that is the third out. So we'll take the 1-0 lead heading into the bottom of the second. Willie Aikens leading off. And Aikens strikes out for the second K for Morris. Next up is Hal Mcrae. And Mcrae, who had a home run against Morris earlier in this week, pops it up to third, and Hebner has it for the second out. So with 2 down, here's Frank White, veteran second baseman, grounds it to Hebner. And a 1-2-3 inning for Morris. We go to the top of the third. Sweet Lou leads it off. Lou takes a strike 3 looking. So that's the second K for Splittorff, as Tram is up next with 1 out. He grounds it to Orta. That's the second out. That'll leave it up to Richie Hebner, who gets a ground ball to Orta boots it. I was waiting for that to happen. It was 3 ground balls that Orta's had so far. With that rating, I knew he'd eventually have a error. So let's let Fisk swing away. And he strikes out on a curveball for the 3rd strikeout for Paul Splittorff. So we can't take advantage of the Orta error. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Amos Otis leading off the inning. And Otis pops it straight up. And Parrish catches it for the 1st out. So 1 down. And here's veteran Jerry Grote wearing the Mets hat. I believe he was on the '69 Mets World Series team as he flies out to center field. So 2 down. And here's Dwight Evans. Evans grounds it to Trammell at first. And there's the 3rd out. So another 1-2-3 inning. And we go to the top of the 4th with Lance Parrish leading off. Parrish hits it on a frozen rope to right field, and it falls in for a base hit. So Parrish has his 2nd hit. He has both hits for the Tigers. So let's hit and run with Hancock, who's been struggling, and he's only batting 177 versus lefties. As he hits a ground ball to Orta, and he makes his 2nd error in 2 innings. It's a 2-base error. So Parrish is at 3rd, Hancock at 2nd, and we're going to try to have Armis hit it to the right side, so perhaps Parrish can score. And he does just that as he hits it to the 2nd baseman, and the run scores, and that's an RBI for Tony Armis, and it's 2-0 as Hancock is on 3rd base for Bob Baylor, who hits a line drive to left field. And it's caught by Mcrae. Hancock tags up and scores. So a sac fly for Bob Baylor. And that's the 2nd out with Mark Wegner coming up with the sacks empty. And he strikes out swinging. So we put 2 more runs on the board. It's 3-0. George Orta will lead off the inning. We've got a string of lefties coming up. Orta grounds it to Whitaker at 2nd base. There's 1 out. Next up is Hall of Famer George Brett, who strikes out looking. That's 3 Ks for Morris. And next up is Ken Phelps, who walks. So runner in first, 2 down for Willie Mays Akins. And Akins hits a little blooper over the shortstop, and it falls in for the 1st hit for the Royals. So there goes the no-hitter for Morris, and he's got himself in a bit of a jam with runners on 1st and 3rd, and Hal Mcrae coming up. He's 2 for 4 with a home run against Morris this year. And he takes a 3rd strike looking for the 4th K for Morris. We go to the top of the 5th. 3-0, Sweet Lou leading off again. And he hits a high fly ball to left field. And it falls short of the warning track at 355 feet. It's 1 down. Next up is Trammell. Trammell grounds it to 2nd base. There's 2 outs. Next up is Hebner. And Hebner strikes out looking. So a 1-2-3 inning for Splittorff. We go to the 5th, the bottom of the 5th. 3-0 Detroit. 3 hits total for the 2 teams. Royals have more errors than hits right now as Frank White leads off, and Morris strikes him out looking. That's 5 Ks so far. Morris looking good. Oop, and as I say that, Otis rips it into the right center field gap for a double. So Otis is on 2nd. Jerry Grote comes up. Jerry Grote's power is below 60. So we're going to pull the outfield in case he bloops one in. Maybe we can get Otis at the plate. So Grote grounds it to 2nd. Oh, and Whitaker boots it. Oh, man, that's not going to be good. When something like that happens, that means this inning's about ready to get broken wide open. So runners at 1st and third for Dwight Evans. We're going to guard the lines, maybe try to turn 2 here. Keep the infield back. And, of course, it's a ground ball right through the right side. And it's 3-1. And still only 1 out, first and second. And we have the lefties coming up, so this could get ugly. Orta strikes out looking for the 6th strikeout for Morris. And that's going to leave it up to George Brett, best hitter on the team, batting .308 with 15 home runs, and Brett walks. So bases are loaded for the cleanup hitter, Ken Phelps, who's a rookie this season. He's only had 212 at-bats, and he doesn't strike out much for a power hitter. So we're going to have to hope that he keeps it inside the park. And he does not. That's a grand slam to dead center field. And just like that, Morris's incredible outing is over. Oh, so a grand slam. And I guess at this point, as Morris closes in on 100 pitches, we let him go through with it, and he strikes out Akins for his 7th strikeout. But the grand slam was a killer, and we go to the top of the 6th. We're going to turn the stats to the in-game stats. Parrish has only 2 hits for the Tigers, and Bob Baylor has 2 of the 3 RBIs. So Fisk will lead off. We still have a good chance against Splittorff as Fisk pops it up on the infield. The error by Whitaker was, I just know I've played thousands of games, and I know when that happens, that is the bad omen that the inning is about to open up. And sure enough did, as Gary Hancock comes to the plate with 2 down after Parrish grounds out. And Hancock grounds it to short. And Orta makes a clean play there. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. And the righties are coming up. So we're going to let Morris pitch here. He deserves a chance to maybe turn it around. But that's not going to happen as he gives up a home run to Hal Mcrae. And that'll be it for Morris. So back-to-back 6-run games he's given up. He's in rough shape right now. As we're going to bring in Andy Replogle. And you'll see the new baseball card I had created for him over here. So this is his 4th appearance for the Tigers. He's been good so far, giving up 3 hits in 3 innings, but he's got 4 Ks. So he's filling in until Pat Underwood comes back in about 6 days, I believe. So here's Frank White coming to the plate after the home run by McRae. And White grounds it to second. There's 1 out. Next up is Amos Otis. Otis grounds it just under the glove of Hebner. So base hit. Runner at first, 1 down for Jerry Grote. Safe on the error by Whitaker last time through. And he walks. You're walking the number 9 hitter. So first and second, and here's Dwight Evans. 1 down. And Evans pops it up on the infield. Looks like Whitaker should have it. He does. 2 down. And we're going to take out Replogle. And we're going to bring in Schatzeder. He's probably pitching about 10 games in a row. He's going to face Jorge Orta, and he walks him immediately. So the bases are loaded once again. And here's George Brett, who, against lefties, is only batting .256. And he gets a base hit through the left side. Another run scores. It is 7-3. So Schatzeder is pouring gasoline on the fire. Ken Phelps, who hit the granny, comes to the plate. And does he have another one? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. 2 grand slams in the same game. I don't think I've ever seen that before. 8 RBIs for Ken Phelps, who is really just a rookie in this game. And Aiken strikes out, and I think the mercy rule's in effect. As it's 11-3, we head to the top of the 7th, and Tony Armis will lead off the inning. So, I mean, this game is pretty much over. I kind of want to see if maybe Aikens can, or Phelps can get his 3rd grand slam. So 2 outs. Here's Mark Wagner, and Wagner hits a line drive to second base. Splittorff is now listed as tired. Terrible job for Schatzeder, who basically ruined Replogel's ERA. So let's bring in Roger Weaver. 57 games, 5-0. I mean, we don't need to go down this. This game is pretty much over. So we'll play it out, of course. The stats and all that. As Hal Mcrae hits a fly ball into right center field. There's 1 out. Next up is Frank White. White grounds it to second base. There's 2 outs. Next up is Amos Otis. And he hits a screaming line drive to center field. And it's run down by Armis for the 3rd out. So to the top of the 8th. Tigers still only have 2 hits, both by Parrish. And Lou Whitaker will lead off the inning. Splittorff is tired at 113 pitches. And there's hit number 3 to left field. I mean, may as well go for a double. Whitaker's out at second base. So you got to take chances. I mean, got nothing to lose at 11-3 as Trammell grounds out. So 2 down. Here's Richie Hebner. And Hebner grounds it to second base. And that's the end of the inning. So to the bottom of the 8th, here's Jerry Grote, thorn in our side today. And there's a base hit for Jerry Grote. It's hit number 9 for the Royals. Next up is Dewey. And Dewey strikes out swinging. So that'll be the end for Weaver, responsible for the runner on first. Here's Keith Comstock. Actually been pitching really great. Maybe the only Tiger who's not overused at this point, as he gets ordered to ground it to first. And there's a double play. So we go to the 9th inning, and they're going to bring in George Brett's older brother, Ken Brett, who pitched in the series against us. He took the loss in a game. Gave up an unearned run and 3 hits. So Fisk will lead off the 9th. And he grounds out to third base. He goes 0 for 3 today against lefties. That's unusual. Here's Parrish, who walks for the 2nd time today. 2 hits and 2 walks. Next up is Gary Hancock, who hits a line drive to second base, and they double Parrish off first to end the game. So that's the kind of game you want to forget about, as the Tigers lose 11-3. And let's take a look at the standings real quick. Yeah, we fell back 1 more game. We're 3.5 back. As the Royals are batting .289 overall, so that is the top batting average, tied with the Angels. And they have 146 home runs, so they are the top hitting team in the American League, and they took it to us there. Take a look at the transactions, nothing of note. Let's pull up this box score and see what 2 grand slams look like. There it is, Ken Phelps, 8 RBIs. When are you ever going to see that in this game? Probably not very often. So Morris takes the loss, 14-9 now, 2 losses in a row. And the bullpen just completely imploded. And Paul Splittorff pitched awesome. I mean, 3 hits. He's 11-10. Mcrae with a home run. Ken Phelps had 2 to give him 10. Both grand slams. So that's it here from Royal Stadium. Don't forget to enter the contest. The video that you need to watch is probably right about here. So watch that video, and you can enter the contest there for the Mickey Mantle autograph. So until tomorrow, everyone, have a great night.